My name is Elena. I was just 18 years old when my life took a turn I never expected. I grew up in a small, forgotten village where dreams were considered luxuries, and survival was the only goal. My father often said that money was the only thing that mattered. My mother stayed silent, never daring to question him. I wanted to study. I wanted to build a future. But whenever I asked to go to school, they laughed at me. Education doesn't fill stomachs, my father would say. He believed I could help the family earn. I didn't understand what he meant until the day they sent me away. I thought I was being given an opportunity, perhaps a job in the city, but the truth was darker than anything I could have imagined. I was sent to a hotel in Manchester, not as a student, not as an employee, but as something else entirely. When I arrived, the manager greeted me with a smile that felt heavy with greed. My parents handed me over as if I was just another object, like luggage to be dropped off. Only when they left did I realize the truth. I hadn't been sent away for work. I had been sold. The hotel room looked ordinary at first glance, clean sheets, soft lights, flowers on the table, but it carried a secret purpose. That night, a man entered holding money in his hand and hunger in his eyes. I begged him, my voice shaking, "Please, I don't want this. I'm only 18. But he didn't care. For him, I wasn't a girl with a name, a heart, or a future. I was just a body. That night, my innocence was torn away, and my soul was left shattered. I cried silently into the pillow, unable to understand how my own parents could do this to me. Days blurred into nights, and nights into endless pain. Men came one after another, old men, young men, rich men, poor men. Different faces, but always the same desire, the same cruel indifference. They never asked who I was or what I felt. They never cared about my tears. They only wanted to satisfy themselves. When they were done, they left money on the table as if I were a product they had purchased. Most of that money went straight to the manager, and a small portion was sent to my parents. Every month my father called, not to ask about my well-being, but to tell me how proud he was that I was supporting the family. Those words cut deeper than any wound. Proud of what? That his daughter was being used by strangers? From the outside, the hotel appeared normal. Families checked in for vacations. Businessmen held meetings. Couples celebrated anniversaries. But behind locked doors, girls like me lived in silence and pain. We learned to smile when we wanted to scream. We learned to act as though we enjoyed what was happening, because refusal was never an option. I wasn't alone in this nightmare. There were other girls too, some kidnapped, some tricked with false promises of jobs, and some, like me, betrayed by their own parents. Late at night, when the corridors were quiet, we whispered our pain to one another. Sometimes we hugged and cried softly, because crying loudly was forbidden. The worst part wasn't the physical pain, it was the emptiness. No one cared about us. No one loved us. We weren't daughters, wives, or friends. We were commodities, objects for rent. I often wondered if the men who came to us ever thought about what they were doing. Did they realize they were destroying a girl's soul just for a few minutes of pleasure? But I understood. They didn't care. To them, we weren't human. We were business. There were nights when I dreamed of love, of marriage, of someone who would see me as more than just a body. But every time another man entered my room, that dream faded further away. Love for girls like me wasn't real. It was nothing but a fairy tale. Reality was cruel, dark, and endless. Yet inside me, something began to grow. It wasn't hope, not yet. It was anger. Anger at my parents for selling me. Anger at the men who used me. Anger at a society that looked away while girls like me suffered. That anger became my strength. It whispered to me at night, "One day, your story will not remain hidden. One day, you will speak." And with that thought, I wiped my tears, stood up from the bed, and prepared to face another night. Nights kept coming, and with them, the same routine. Men entered, used my body, and left me broken. Some were violent, others pretended to be gentle, whispering lies like, "You're beautiful, I can love you forever." But I had learned to see through their words. Love could not be bought by the hour. Love did not end when the door closed. So when one man tried to trick me with his false affection, I looked into his eyes and asked, "Is love something you pay for? Is it something you walk away from as soon as you're satisfied?" He had no answer. And in that silence, I found a small piece of my power. I wasn't the only one enduring this life. There was Ronnie from India, Sophia from Romania, and Layla from Nigeria. Each girl carried a story of betrayal. Some were promised jobs. Some were kidnapped. Some, like me, were handed over by the very people meant to protect them. At night, after the customers were gone, we sat together on the cold floor of the corridor, whispering our truths. We weren't allowed to cry loudly, so we cried into each other's shoulders, muffling our sobs. Those moments of shared pain reminded us we were still human, even when the world treated us otherwise. The hardest part was the phone calls from home. Every month, the hotel manager sent a small sum of money to my parents. And every month, my father's voice carried the same cold words. "We are proud of you, Elena. Keep working hard. You are helping us survive proud that his daughter was being destroyed night after night, that my dignity was gone." Those words cut me open every time. Parents are supposed to protect their children, but mine were the first to betray me. My tears were no longer of surrender. They were of resistance. From that moment, my view changed. The routine didn't stop. The men didn't stop. But something inside me refused to die. I began to hold on to that inner strength. Whenever a man looked at me with his empty desire, I reminded myself that his cruelty did not define my worth. I was more than what they made me do. I started watching the other girls more closely. In their faces, I saw courage. In their silence, I saw survival. We were all living ghosts, but deep down, each of us carried a fire waiting to be lit. The truth is, I may never get back the life I lost. My childhood is gone. My innocence was stolen, but my voice still remains, and that is something no one can take from me. So I made a promise to myself. If my body was ruined, I would not let my story be wasted. I would share it. I would tell the world what happens behind those locked hotel doors. Because silence protects the guilty, but truth protects the innocent. So today, if you are listening to me, hear this. To parents, never trade your daughters for money. Education is wealth. Dreams are wealth. Exploitation is not. Your greed may bring you coins, but it will leave your child with wounds that never heal. To men, Stop treating women as objects. Real love cannot be bought. Respect women if you want to be respected yourself. Each girl you destroy is someone's daughter, someone who once had a future. To society, do not close your eyes. Do not stay silent. Every girl deserves dignity, safety, and the chance to dream. My name is Elena. My body may have been used, but my soul still speaks. And through my voice, I want every girl to know this. You are not guilty. You are not an object. You are valuable. Protect yourself. Love yourself. And never allow anyone to take away your dignity. This is my dark story, and I pray no other girl will ever have to live it.